Ankit and Divya, and we'll start with introductions. My name is Henry Lussenko. I'm the founder and CEO of Promoting Economic Pluralism, who set up this Festival for Change, which has this challenge for bringing new, exciting ideas and helping them move to fruition. I'd like to introduce other members of our panel. Firstly, Lalit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lalit Kishore Bhati. I'm an architect and urban planner. I am a co-founder of Path Architect Planners, as well as the co-founder of Auroville Campus Initiative, and a community group for learning activities within Auroville and also outside. I have been living in Auroville, which is an international cultural township in South India near Pondicherry. It is 50-year young. We are 3,000 people, volunteers from 55 countries, which are working towards with a stated aim and goal of human unity. It is based on the spiritual vision of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Many sustainable practices and activities which have emerged in the last 50 years from Auroville, and one can check out easily more on this website. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Lalit. Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Hall. I'm from the Real Ideas organisation in the UK. So we're a social enterprise that helps people develop their ideas and put them into practice. And we've particularly done that over the years with young people and communities, setting up all sorts of community businesses, social enterprises, ventures of a whole variety, both in the UK and internationally. And really delighted to be here.
Thanks very much, Lindsay. And Ankit, could you introduce yourself? Ankit's video is not on because of internet issues. Ankit.
So hello everyone, my name is Ankit Pandey. I'm the founder of WeIncluded.org, and currently I'm working as a Gandhi Fellow in Piramal Foundation. I'm placed in Jhunjhunu district of Rajasthan, wherein I directly work with the state level government officials, and on the field I work with the government schools, senior secondary schools, and I'm trying to see how 21st century skills could be used to deliver to the students so that they are prepared for the market that is dynamically changing. So as of now, I'll be pitching on the water sanitation and hygiene related project under this challenge. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ankit. And Divya, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, this is Divya Priyadarshini. Currently, I am also situated as a Gandhi Fellow in Jhunjhunu location, and Ankit and the team has been working on MHM from last 2 years, and this is one of my favorite topics also. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, Divya, and thank you both, and congratulations for being a finalist in our challenge. We see all our finalists as winners because all your projects are inspiring, exciting, and innovative. And so we're very pleased to hear more about your project. If you can give us a short presentation, and then we'll open to questions and discussion. Thank you.
Sure. I would just request Divya to share her screen.
Okay. Is it visible?
I can see Henry. Now it is coming.
Can you just turn on the PPT mode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need to share the, that's it. Now put it on presentation mode.
Presentation mode, yeah.
Ankit, do I need to admit you again to the room?
Yeah. I was just trying from my laptop. If it is possible, I'll just try to present myself. So hello everyone, my name is Ankit, and I'll be presenting my idea spot on. Divya, next slide, please. So I will start with a story of a girl, Priyanka, who is a 15-year-old from Rajasthan. So she is one of the girl in my community with whom I'm working right now. So she was playing in her backyard of her house when she got her first period, and horrified at the sight of the blood, she ran to her mother. And pulling her outside the house, her mother gave her hay to absorb the blood and told her that she would have to spend the next 5 days in the shed where the family buffaloes live. Similar to the story of Priyanka, there are several other million stories in such tribal and remote communities of India. Divya, next slide. So why it matters? So if we are able to keep girls like Priyanka in schools, which in turn would delay the early marriages and pregnancy, so it has a potential of around 100 billion to be added into Indian economy. Also tackling this menstruation problem will generate a triple return on investment in terms of education, health, and environment. And as a part of new government, this government has also put a high priority on the issue of sanitation for women. Divya, next slide. So during my master's research at Nalanda University, I was working on a similar issue of water sanitation and hygiene, wherein I was looking at social and infrastructural domains. And I engaged with around 350 rural households and 15 government schools. And pained with the ground realities and issues at that level, I joined the Gandhi Fellowship to actually work on the grassroots for such communities. And currently I'm engaged with the tribal community known as One Bawariyas in Rajasthan for the past 1.5 years and working on the issue of menstruation. Divya, next slide. So why this topic is necessary now, like during COVID and post-COVID times? So it is mainly because of the three reasons. First, the availability of material. So 88% of these women, they use alternatives such as rags, newspapers, and wood shavings as a blood absorbent. And secondly, the facilities. So 66% of these women, they go out in open to manage their menstruation. And third, awareness. There is dearth of awareness among the people of this community, because of which we see stories like Priyanka. Next slide, Divya. So I am proposing a three-step solution. First one of which is supporting self-help group. So in this, we are trying to help the existing self-help group, specifically women, to establish their micro units in order to manufacture sanitary napkin pads. This will not only empower them by providing them with livelihood, but will also skill them and ensure the quality of sanitary napkin pads that have been manufactured. Second one, Divya, can you change the slide? Second one is about establishing supply points. So we will be developing a village level entrepreneurs who will be responsible for the distribution of the sanitary napkin pads at the retail level. So by doing this, they will be inculcating skills like marketing and negotiation, and which in turn will help them develop into effective salesperson. And secondly, this will also ensure the universal access and distribution of sanitary napkin pads to each and every members of that community. Third slide, Divya. And the last solution is about creating awareness. So through sessions, campaigns, and workshops at that level, we'll try to sensitize people for this around this issue of menstruation and health and hygiene. So by doing this, we'll not only be breaking the myths, taboo, and social stigma associated with it, but also due to increased awareness, this will stimulate the demands for the sanitary napkin pads. Next slide, Divya. So all in all, my project Spot On is looking at solving the period poverty problem holistically by empowering women, giving them livelihood opportunities, by establishing manufacturing and distribution points, as well as community sensitization. It is sustainable because we are involving and skilling directly the members of the community, and it is scalable because we are trying to leverage the already present schemes and systems at that level. For example, self-help groups at a panchayat for at a panchayat at community level. So panchayat is basically the lowest electoral level in India. So we are trying to get in touch with sarpanch, the representatives from that village and community, and trying to use them for mobilizing people as well as giving support for these micro units. Next slide. So that was my idea, and we have currently 4 members, me, Divya, Abhay, and Anshika. We all have different expertise and we come from different regions of India. So like I can explain you in more detail if I have much time. Henry, how much time is left? I think you are on mute.
It would be good if we could move to questions quite soon, actually.
Okay.
So, and you can obviously add further details in response.
Okay. So last slide, Divya. So that was all from my side. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer like all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Enki. Can you stop sharing that? Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. Well, that's another very impressive presentation. The quality of the presentations have been fantastic. So I'd like to ask Lalit first to open the discussion.
Yeah, Ankit and Divya, congratulations for this work. It is a very,
thank you so much,
very important. And what you are dealing, particularly in a diverse country like ours, and that too in that region, it's a quite challenging situation. What we are dealing is a great awareness issue here, and old social, cultural, traditional practices, belief systems. So it is not a simple thing how to bring or enable change. So it is in that context. And I'm happy that you people are involved in this. So if I have understood it right, you are trying to also make it as a social entrepreneurship, right? It has that element
micro
also.
level social entrepreneur. Yeah.
And you are suggesting to go for cloth-based pads,
so
sanitary napkins.
Actually, I had like we have 2 options. One is cloth based, obviously, like which they are already using, but then again that will be only one time use if you are manufacturing it as a sanitary napkin pad. Secondly is oxy biodegradable sanitary pads, which are very cheap and easy to manufacture with a very simplistic infrastructural requirements. So, and government is also kind of supporting those kinds of initiatives from like local entrepreneurs. So we will trying to see like if it is possible, let's go for oxy biodegradable sanitary napkin pads. Otherwise, cloth-based napkins are already an option to manufacture.
Okay, so just a quick comment about that. It is, I can put you in touch with the people, those who are already doing it in Oroville on a very similar model. It is happening for many years.
Wonderful.
Organization name is EcoFam. And it is also based on the same principle. The women from surrounding area, they are engaged. So it is a like overall objective is again multifold. It is a health, personal health, hygiene, environmental goals, economic, and the local micro enterprise and all. So this is already happening. You can get in touch and see with them, and many people are using here. So I don't think it has any of those elements that either it is one use, it is a washable, it is very well washable. So how is to be done, or what is the size, scale, particular type of clothing, or some other people can be engaged in that whole chain. You can study and look into that. That would be, I think, more sustainable, because one has to keep in mind, in order to address or solve one problem, one has to be careful that we don't create another problem sort of.
Another problem.
One has to be
because
careful.
sanitary napkin pads, the waste from generated from the sanitary napkin pads is another an issue. If you are like manufacturing,
it's a major issue. It's a major issue, very, very major, because what has been seen, if we are dealing with awareness, so many a times people are flushing them, even educated ones, in the toilet, which is clogging the whole chain, and it leads to all kind of issues. Other than, I mean, the whole water sanitation
and in
needs
my
a revolution.
like last presentation, I also discussed with Henry that cloth pads were a very good alternative or material for like menstruation hygiene management. But the thing was only they were not properly dried or washed because of the stigma associated with it. They were not openly sun dried and other things. That alternative became very poor solution for managing the menstruation. Otherwise, cloth pads are wonderful to manage the menstruation health.
So on that note, what I would say, as we had seen in the previous presentations also, though we may be focusing on one project, one problem statement, but typically the chain reaction with which it comes or the interlinkage of that problem are essentially linked with many other associated things. So what I'm not saying, I mean, essentially you are dealing is a human nature change. It is not about PAD as such. You have to keep that in mind. So you are using the lens or that entry vehicle for that perspective to bring a change in a certain social economic context. But a huge amount of or an appropriate effort is required to take care of this social taboo or stigma. How do we deal, or how society deals? First of all, I think in that part, what is the respectful or less respectful way to deal with women, that is one. And then with that comes also how do we deal with this kind of sanitary pad related issues. So if you approach an issue with an ecosystem approach, then you are likely to be creating much better social change enabling environment. This we have to, a product alone cannot bring change beyond a point.
Of course,
so it has to be something more wider and holistic is what I would say. Whatever education is required, awareness, exercises, more people from outside they visit, or movies. There are many things which are happening. So I think it has to be integrated.
Even personally, I also felt like it was more of like like creating a health-seeking behavior in that community rather than giving them a product as per se. So it was more of a behavioral change that we want to see so that they can properly manage their menstruation.
Would there be somebody from this village community, particularly women, those who have gone out and made some changes in their life career, and if they can be brought back to talk about these people? Because sometimes there is a huge layer said and unsaid that I can relate and connect to the people, those who are of a similar background. There is a layer. You can understand my feelings, emotions. So they can help out with those things. Like we might be considered, or maybe you bit outsider in that sense. So there is a way to penetrate that layer of emotions.
And do you have connections with and linkages and a network of people who are more closely related to the people that you're seeking to work with?
Yeah, of course, Henry. Like for the past 1.5 years, I have been working on the ground. My permanent like residence was there. So just because of the COVID, I have like come home. Otherwise, like for the past 12 to 13 months, I have been on the site in like directly engaging with the people and the panchayat and everyone else. So I do have like direct connections with those people.
Great. So Lindsay, did you want to make some points or?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of things really. I mean, just I think to echo what's been said, which is our experience of projects like this, and believe me, they do exist in the UK too. You know, this is for different reasons. There are different cultural issues, but it is a global problem. And I suppose the most successful we've seen is where there are women, particularly young women, who are prepared to sort of step forward and take a bit of a leadership role in their local community. And so I suppose what I was interested in is, I suppose structurally, what do you see to be your relationship, you know, as your project with all those potential, you know, local leaders? And that was what I couldn't quite get. Are you going to be sort of running all of this and then they're just ambassadors? Or are you thinking about this as being something where you're, if you like, providing local groups with the tools they need to take this forward? I get the practical issues, but I really do think at the end of the day, this is about awareness and cultural change. So I suppose that was the bit I was interested in, is are you thinking you're going to run this as a project, or are you setting up a project which enables local groups to take this on themselves?
Linda, as I mentioned, like in my last slide of sustainability, so I'll be like our whole team will just act as a facilitator or a guider. Like for example, to build those skills. For example, if you are trying to set up a micro units for manufacturing, then we are trying to like build the capacity or skills of those women that are engaged in that self-help group, so that like after a certain period of time, they themselves can manufacture or run the whole unit. Secondly, about the distribution and supply points also, like as I told you, that we are trying to skill the people from that community only, so that they can be a better salesperson. They can acquire skills like marketing, negotiation, and business, so that like even if our team is not there or like relocated to different place, the whole system works and it doesn't collapse. So we were thinking of like ourselves as just as a facilitator and a guide for a certain period of time, and after that we hope to like see this whole enterprise running on itself at that level.
Okay, great. That makes lots of sense. So then my second question is, in terms of the business model, how does that work in the sense of, is it something where you're, as the local group set up, you're going to get some money, or is it, I couldn't quite work out how the money flows are going to enable you to keep going in that facilitation role?
Okay, so the nearest market, the local bazaar that is accessible from that community is around 12 to 13 kilometers. So, and there are the raw materials that are required for the manufacturing is present in that market. The only thing is there is information gap, or the sellers that are there in the market, they don't know the potential like customers or consumers are there in that community. So if we are able to link the seller and the consumer in the village, then the supply of raw materials and other things automatically flows. So the basic cost requirement will itself be fulfilled through that community. So we don't need to have an lot of external investment in terms of establishing that unit. The only problem here is for the equipment that are required for setting up this micro unit. So there are several schemes by the government as well as the local panchayat or the community electoral body that I'm saying. There are certain amount of funds that are allocated for these specific social issues, but only because of the corruption, ineffectiveness at that implementation level, these funds are not actually utilized. So if you are able to pinpoint those schemes and people, resource person, I think all those flow of money as well as the instrument can happen smoothly. We don't need any external agent per se. We just need someone to actually just clear the air and actually implement those policies which are already present.
I might add a follow-up question, Ankit, because I think from what Lalit said and Lindsay said, this is not just about a business, setting up a business. And you were suggesting the support you were giving was very much support of setting up a business. I wondered if you thought about other sorts of support, because if we're talking about cultural change, breaking taboos, having difficult conversations, you know, all that sort of dimension, how you link into wider social change, what sort of training and support are you thinking about in terms of those elements?
So first and foremost point that came into our mind was the demands for the sanitary napkins are not going to be like there if we are not able to change the mindset of the people. So they need to be aware first. So that should be the starting point. So we were thinking of utilizing the representatives from that panchayat level, or some women who are like really positive or courageous to come and speak in front of all the members of that community, and train them and supply them with the proper scientific information, and as well as the points through which they can ensure that each and every member of their community is actually aware about the practices, the best practices for menstrual hygiene. And like we were thinking of creating these communication points from the community itself, and create you can say a club kind of thing, so that in future they on a regular basis organize these kind of workshops, sessions, campaigns in the society. So because if we are not able to solve the mindset or the awareness thing, then the whole manufacturing and the supply thing will go off, because no one going to buy it, because they're not aware, and there are a lot of social stigma associated with.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Ankit, and thank you very much, Divya. That has been fascinating, and I can only congratulate you on another brilliant project. We will be launching
so much,
on Monday all the projects and building awareness and asking people to vote on to have a sort of popular favorite. But for us, you're all winners. And we very much want to keep working with you and providing what support we can, as well as writing and about your project and building awareness of it. So thank you very much again, and we look forward to working with you further as you develop your brilliant project.
Thank you so much, Henry.
All the best.
All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.